I had to realize, okay, what do I want my brand to look like? Not what I think that the world should think it looks like. I think in my experience, if you're not yourself, then your clients are not going to find you. So when you are authentic to who you are, then the right people will align to you. They can sniff out the fake. So I always tell people, as long as you're showing up as your true and authentic self, then the right people, your tribe, will find you for sure.
Second question. So, what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced in branding your business and how did you overcome them?
I can start with that. When I first started my practice, I decided, well, before starting my practice, I wanted to have a virtual law office. Not many people were doing that. So I allowed customers and other people tell me, well, you need an office, you need to look like a lawyer. And again, going back to being authentic, I got an office. I was unhappy. My brand did not speak to who I was, and that it reflected in my income, right? So if I can share with you all, just make sure that you align with your original thought. Don't conform to what everyone else is telling you to do, okay? Make sure that you create a plan and you stick to it.
Oh, in my case, I always have.
Third question. What strategies have been most effective in growing your brand's online presence? And can you share any specific tactics that worked well for you?
I guess I'll go.
For me, I tried so hard to delegate social media to other staff members, and it just didn't come off authentic. They told me, hey, they want to see your face. And I really didn't want to get on camera because I like my pajamas. I like to just look normal, right? And I'm also a perfectionist. So I'm going to have to put on makeup. You don't have to show up perfect online, but it's just me being in my head. So I have now gotten into, of course, video and doing more YouTube, more, recording my speaking engagements. Prior to the social media, the new era of social media, I was doing community work. So going out and doing speaking engagements, having my own workshops. Education, people empowering people with knowledge is when they want to buy into your product or service. When you tell them your story, then they want to buy in. So I think being able to just tell them why they need the service or the product is what prompts them to buy in. So just show up as in whatever format you wish, social media, video, and your clientele, your customers will come to you.
What platforms do you use primarily for your businesses? Like as far
For
as the
me,
socials are
Instagram. I'm trying to get into TikTok. I'm a consumer of TikTok, but posting is a little too much because the algorithm it's broad and that's scary to me. I'm not quiet, but I'm just private and I prefer to keep certain things to myself. And even my business, even if I'm teaching, people are so critical and you're like, do I want to put it out there to the masses or just Instagram, in my opinion, does not have a broader reach than TikTok, which I'm more comfortable with. So I prefer Instagram. I can start. I would have established a brand identity right from the start. I, going back to the original question, I adapted what I thought was traditional marketing. The colors were stale. It was blue and white and gray. You would have thought that it was a old white man that owned my law firm and not a young black woman, right? So I had to realize, okay, what do I want my brand to look like? Not what I think that the world should think it looks like. And I rebranded in 2021, and now I absolutely love my brand. I have a slogan now. I have a logo that I love. I went on Fiverr for the first logo, and I was like, okay, it's all right, but I don't know if I want to keep it forever. And now my logo is something that I want to put on everything. And I wish I would have started from the beginning and been very critical about that brand identity from the beginning of my journey. I think that when we first start our entrepreneurial journey, we treat it as if it's a hobby, and we're not so serious about it until we start making money, and then it's grown in popularity, and that's when we start taking it more serious. I would start treating, if I started over again, I would treat it like a corporation from day one, like a big business corporation, and not a hobby. We have to be mindful of 10 years from now, people are going to know your brand, and you're going to have employees. You have to feed other people, not just yourself. And you need to have things in place to protect your brand. I think going back to what she said, I'm not going to hop on TikTok and start dancing. That's not who I am, right? So you still have to go back to being yourself and what you're comfortable with. And you know who your audience is, your client base, your customers. You should be speaking to them and not to the entire world. So make sure you focus on your ideal client and not everyone else. Does everyone have a home or renting at all? Do we rent? Who rents in here? Who owns a home? Okay. Before you go and purchase your home, did they do a title search on that property? Why do they do a title search? No one else owns it, right? Because you don't want to live in a home that someone else owns, right? The same goes for your brand. You don't want to establish a brand that could potentially be legally owned by someone else. That's part one. So you want to make sure that no one legally owns your brand. Then also, with that same analogy, in your home, do we keep our doors unlocked all day, every day? No, we lock our doors, we secure it. We probably have ring alarm systems in our home to protect it. You should do the same for your business, for your brand identity. So you want to make sure when you put your brand out, be it your name, your slogan, your logo, you want to make sure you're not only not infringing on someone else's trademark, but you have the exclusive right to use that brand. Also, you don't want to go 10 years down the line and see that someone else has secured the brand. Are we familiar with the Very Demure? Yeah. And we saw that on TikTok, it's gotten trademarked, right? Mm-hmm. People do that. People are thieves. And we, because of social media, we're able to put our brand out there to the entire globe. So someone is likely going to steal. And we often think that it's not going to happen to me. It will. And you have to be very vigilant about that and proactive and not reactive. Okay. Thank you. Most people often wait till their brand gets super popular or viral before they say, okay, let me protect it. And then again, someone else has access to and has been exposed to your brand, and they likely will protect it before you do. And now you have to fight, and you have to go on an uphill battle and try to regain the legal right to protecting your brand, just like Jules. She's going to have to go through the legal hoops to make sure that the USPTO understands, and that's the trademark office, patent and trademark office, understands that she was the first person to use it. And a lot of people think that when you have a viral saying just like that, it doesn't need to be protected. As long as you connect it to a service or a good, it can be protected. And people really don't expose themselves to the knowledge that they need. And you all said it, you don't know what you don't know, right? So you have blind spots in business. I hate finances. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a CPA, right? So I hire a CPA. And just like with your brand protection, you hire an attorney to go through your entire brand, not just your brand name, but your business structure altogether to identify what can be protected, because it's not just trademarks. You can copyright a lot of things and have the double protection of your logo. So a logo can be copyrighted and protected under trademark law. So hire individuals that can assist you in protecting all aspects of your business. A good example of, yes, Blue Ivy. I don't know if you guys remember when Beyonce, as soon as that baby was born, she filed a trademark in every category of goods and services. So yes, you can. Just like Kylie Jenner, she does it often. And a lot of celebrities will file the trademarks before they even launched a product or service. Her daughter has so many, Stormy, she has so many trademarks, and she is likely developing products on the back end so that when she does launch, that child has the protection over her name, because a lot of people will steal it, right? Someone's going to say, oh, I like that name, Stormy. Let me put it on my brand. So as I said, you have to be proactive, because nowadays we have so much access to one another through social media. People will steal. You just have to hire a professional, because you really don't know what aspects of your business can be protected. And one consultation with an attorney can change all of that and can give you the knowledge. And if you can't afford an attorney, go to workshops, go to webinars, and gain access to that knowledge, because there is free information out there, and just make sure that you are getting it from the right source. A non-attorney cannot give you legal advice, okay? So contact a barred attorney and make sure that they actually practice trademark law. You don't want to go to a criminal law attorney and get legal advice on your trademark, because if I had someone call me after they got locked up, I promise you, you're going back to jail, because I can't help you. I really don't know anything about criminal law. So make sure you hire the right people. Yes, of course, of course. Yes, I offer trademark protection, copyright protection, and that's where I wanted to give up, because not being able to find the right people to support my dream. And you just want to go into a shell and say, I can do it myself. And you have to just believe in yourself and have enough faith that you will eventually find someone that also believes in you as well. So just tap into that belief in yourself and your ability to do it. And not be that friend or family member, and try not to have blind spots when it comes to their ability to do the work, because you also have to give them feedback. Also provide them with support, right? I realized that maybe I was throwing them out to the wolves a little too soon. So I had developed a training portal for them, and I can now track their progress, because if you're telling me that you're not picking up on the information that I'm teaching you, then I can see how much information you've actually consumed. So you need to put mechanisms in place to track. So KPIs, you need to at least have a training path for staff. And if they cannot meet that, then be okay with terminating them. And hold them accountable. When they start, everyone has a NDA and an accountability contract, because you need to know your duties, and you need to know that I expect you to fulfill those duties. And if you don't, then it's okay. I still love you, but you can no longer be with the company.